Mr. Simon, last year ExxonMobil reported $40 billion in profits, $28 billion in stock buybacks, $7.5 billion in dividends and executive compensation. But all I can really find is no more than a commitment of $100 million in investment in renewables over the next 10 years. Why is that, Mr. Simon? Why is your company not investing in renewables?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for giving me the opportunity to address the area of alternative fuel. When you go back to the year 2000, 2001, we as a corporation recognized that we had a huge challenge in front of us, not only as a corporation, but as an industry, in meeting a significant growth in energy requirements, estimated about 40% in the year 2030 compared to 2005, while still managing the risks associated with climate change as driven by the increase in greenhouse gas emissions. At that time, we looked at every component, every facet of alternative energy. We had our best and brightest minds, the scientists and engineers of the highest caliber in our corporation, look at it on a fundamental basis. We looked at it all the way from production on the one hand, all the way through consumption on the other. We call it a well-to-wheels analysis. We looked at it on an energy basis, on the energy balance.
How much have you invested in renewable energy, Mr. Simon, for 2008? What is your budget for renewable energy at ExxonMobil?
And I will get to that, Mr. Chairman.
I only have 5 minutes. It's important for us to get it out on the table. What is the investment in renewable energy, please?
Recognizing that we needed to do something of a great magnitude, the current generation of fossil fuels don't work. What we did is we said we needed the best and brightest minds from all walks of life, and we initiated the Global Climate and Energy Project at Stanford University, which is about
how much money are you
about
putting into that?
$100 million investment.
$100 million, but you made $40 billion last year.
Mr. Chairman, putting more money into something does not necessarily equal progress.
Well, Shell is putting money into wind. BP is putting money into renewables, and we're not talking about $100 million over 10 years. We're talking about billions of dollars which are being invested. Why is ExxonMobil resisting the renewable revolution that is being embraced by other companies, even in the oil and gas sector?
Our analysis is that we are not going to be able to meet the challenge that you would like to meet and I would like to meet with current generation. That's our assessment. We need to leapfrog current generation technology. We need to have breakthrough, world-changing, and that's what the objective of our Global Climate and Energy Project is at Stanford University. We have 40 breakthrough programs underway looking at every aspect of renewables. We're looking at wind, solar. We're looking at biofuels, biomass.
Simon, we don't have time, Mr. Simon, okay? We've got people, you heard in my opening statement, for the poorest 20% in America, it's now 10% of their income going to paying their gasoline bill. So as these consumers are at the pump, being tipped upside down and having money shaken out of their pocket, your message to them is that you can't do anything for them, that you're about to begin a partnership to think about what you're going to do about a renewable energy agenda. And that's not going to send any message that we're going to put pressure on OPEC, that we're about to change business in our country.
Well, if we're going to have the kind of impact that you and I want longer term, it's going to take breakthroughs, and that's what we're trying to do there. That does not say that we can't do something to try to address the price at the pump today. About 80% of that price, or 70% of that price, is crude oil. What can we do there? One thing, we can moderate demand in terms of the transportation sector.
But you can't have it both ways. You can't, on the one hand, be nickel and diming renewables at ExxonMobil, and at the same time be recording $40 billion worth of profits and simultaneously fighting our efforts to move over the billions of dollars into the research in renewables, which this country needs to break its dependence on imported oil. You cannot do that, Mr. Simon. Exxon should make a commitment that they are going to put 10% of their profits into renewables so that America has a comprehensive strategy to fight that dependence upon imported oil. Are you willing to make that kind of a commitment?
Mr. Chairman, we continue to look at that area. If we identify an area where we think it can have the impact that you're alluding to, we will do that. But we've studied all forms, even anticipating some improvements. And the current technologies just do not have an impact of any kind of appreciable impact on this challenge that we're trying to meet.
Mr. Simon, that is just going to be a continuation of a policy of tax breaks for the oil companies and tough breaks for consumers at the pump. And that just doesn't work. OPEC has us over a barrel, and you're saying you're going to study the issue for another 10 years. And with all due respect to Stanford, you have competitors here on this panel who are already investing in multi-billion-dollar strategies in alternative energy. And I just think that it's time to move to this new agenda for the sake of our country and for the consuming public that really does feel as they've been shortchanged in terms of protecting them against what looks like to be a devastating long-term prospect of paying $3.29, $4.29 and more at the pump for the indefinite future. My time has expired. I turn to recognize the gentleman from Wisconsin.